Yo guys, what's going on? Is it nasty? And since I'm a gamer, I'm gonna be watching this 10 most bizarre deaths caused by video games. So yeah, let's get straight into this.
For just $4,
I still get
get
ads.
a double cheeseburger, a spicy chicken sandwich.
Sorry.
Today we are going to be counting down the 10 most bizarre deaths caused by video games. Also, thanks for the support, you guys are awesome. Let's aim for 500 likes. So we are going to start off with a pretty messed up story. Something so ridiculous it's actually kind of hard to believe, but believe me, it's true. Back in 2010 in South Korea, a recently married couple had just given birth to their first child. However, said child was premature, and in South Korean culture this is a taboo, which pretty much means something that is prohibited and restricted as the social norm. Because of this, the Korean couple grew incredibly depressed as they both lost their jobs and had been essentially disowned and kicked out of society. As a last-ditch attempt to do something with their lives, the couple turned to the internet, specifically a game called Prius Online. Within the game, they decided to adopt and raise a virtual baby, investing over 12 hours a day into it. However, as time went on, the couple eventually completely forgot about their own baby at home, and it in the end died from malnutrition. I assume the parents were caught and are now imprisoned or something, unable to raise any baby, real or virtual.
That is really sad.
9 years ago, in 2007, there was a Chinese man who really enjoyed playing his online games. So much so that he would go to his local internet cafe and spend hours at a time at one computer without doing anything else. One day, however, something clicked in the man's head, and instead of having a gaming session for around 6 to 8 consecutive hours, he played the unknown game for 72 hours straight. That's 3 whole days just sitting in a chair staring at the same screen. I honestly don't know how long this guy would have stayed in this chair for, as he didn't stop after 72 hours. Nope, he simply dropped dead from exhaustion.
Oh my God.
But how can you die from exhaustion if you're just sitting down looking at a computer, I hear you ask? Well, just think about it. Sitting in a chair for 3 days without moving and with no sleep, your brain is eventually going to just give up, and so will all your organs. The blood flow is going to slow, and eventually your body will just shut down. This is essentially what happened to this man. For this story, we are heading all the way back to February of 2004, when 17-year-old Warren LeBlanc brutally murdered his best friend Stefan Pakira, aged 14, with a claw hammer. LeBlanc lured his younger friend out to a remote area of Stokes Wood Park in Leicester, UK. Once there, he essentially tortured Pakira, inflicting over 50 different injuries to his body before he eventually died. The reason for all this? Well, according to LeBlanc, he owed £75 to a gang he was affiliated with, but think about it. Why would he have tortured his friend to death with over 50 injuries if all he wanted was the money? The real reason was actually the fact that LeBlanc had been playing the incredibly violent and murderous game Manhunt. Now, something was obviously already wrong with him in the head, and the game triggered this, and he just went crazy. This next guy is by far one of the most evil people on this list. Tyrone Spellman was a man who was pretty much in love with his Xbox, or addicted to it, to put it in another light. One day, Spellman was playing his beloved Xbox as usual, and things really weren't going very well for him. If you're a gamer, you will understand everyone has bad gaming days. However, Spellman, judging from this story, was having the worst gaming day of his life, as when his 17-month-old daughter Alaya accidentally pulled the power lead out of the wall, he got up, grabbed her by her head, and started smashing her skull against the wall until he had killed her. In my opinion, this is completely unjustifiable, and I'm glad Spellman got 47 years in prison for this. I also hope that he got messed up by the other inmates, as he deserves it. Back in 2003, a teenager named Devin Moore got arrested on suspicion of stealing a car. The police at that point in time had no hard evidence, and it looked like Moore was good to walk away with just a warning. However, Moore was an avid fan of the Grand Theft Auto series and seemed to view life as a video game, as what he did next will shock you. Once Moore had been brought to the police station, before they had any time to lock him in his cell, he grabbed one of the officers' guns, proceeded to shoot 2 of them as well as a 911 dispatcher. Next, he grabbed a set of keys to one of the police cruisers and made a speedy exit. But this didn't last long, as Moore was recaptured just a few hours later. He reportedly said after this, "Life is like a video game. Everybody's got to die at some point.
Well, everybody does have to
Next
die, but
up,
it's
we
not
have
a video game
another
at all.
Grand Theft Auto related death, but this time in Thailand. Back in 2008, a man, Pol Wat Chino, got a taxi ride home from Kwan Po Kang, described as a gentle man who had never hurt anyone. Everything seemed to be going smoothly throughout their journey up until when they reached their destination. Grand Theft Auto addicted Chino decided, instead of paying the taxi fare, to stab Po Kang multiple times with the intention of robbing him. He was successful in doing so then moved Po Kang's lifeless body into the back seat, got into the driver's position himself and attempted to race off. Chino faced one huge problem though, he didn't know how to drive. Because of this, he was swiftly caught by the police and later told them killing seemed easier in the game.
Oh, it's messed
What
up
a
that he
surprise,
stabbed him,
we
but
have Grand
he
Theft
doesn't know how to
Auto back
drive.
again for this death, but this time it involves the most recent Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto 5. Back when it was released in September of 2013, an 8-year-old was playing it at his
Why would
house.
they let
Bear in
8-year-old
mind
play
that
GTA?
GTA is rated 18+. Now this 8-year-old was at home with his grandmother and he had blatantly been playing GTA 5, going around killing people, as what he decided to do next will blow your minds. The 8-year-old child somehow managed to get his hands on a pistol. He also managed to load it with bullets and get it to where it was ready to shoot. He then went into his front room where his grandmother was sitting and point blank shot her in the back of the head. She died instantly, and later on when being questioned, the boy claimed it was an accident, whereas the police believed it was intentional and were probably correct. The boy was also never charged due to his age. Have you ever
Yeah,
received
wasn't
constant
charged.
invites on Facebook to join your
serious?
friends that are playing Farmville? I certainly have, and I've always thought that people that send those invites are pretty strange. This story proves my theory. Alexandra Tobias, age 22, was playing Farmville on her computer as she did every single day. She also had a 3-month-old baby which she would look after while playing the popular online game. However, one day while playing Farmville, Tobias was interrupted by her infant son, who started crying and wouldn't stop after multiple attempts of trying to get him to. This frustrated her to no end, so she decided to shake the baby in her hands vigorously to get it to shut up. It worked, but not in the way you would like. Tobias hit her baby's head as she was shaking it, and it killed the infant almost instantly.
No.
She called 911 after this, and after being caught lying about killing her child, she got 50 years in prison and is still in there right now as you're watching this. So this next story is slightly different to the rest, but it's still very interesting and messed up. Back in 2014, May 30th to be exact, two girls by the name of Morgan Geyser age 12 and Anissa Wire age 13 were under the impression that Slender Man would harm their families unless they made some sort of human sacrifice to him. Unfortunately for Peyton Leutner age 12, she was to become the two girls' target. That night of May 30th, the girls had invited Leutner over for a birthday party at Geyser's house and had originally planned to kill her then. However, they backed out at the last minute and instead waited until the next day. It was late in the afternoon and the girls had gone out to play hide and seek in the woods. This is where the two attacked Leutner with a knife and stabbed her a disgusting 19 times. After the attack, the girls left her for dead in the woods, but miraculously, Leutner was still alive and somehow managed to make her way to the nearest path where she flagged down a cyclist who was riding past. She has now been nursed back to full health and lives a relatively normal life. The two girls that stabbed her, however, are now on the verge of being tried as adults for attempted first-degree murder.
Well, okay.
Finally, we
So
are at number
they
10
didn't
on
kill
this
somebody,
list.
and they didn't
In
get- they
2004,
got
a
jail.
gamer from
I
Shanghai,
don't know if they
Zhu
got jail.
Koyan, was
that
murdered
kid
by a
shot somebody
fellow
and
online
killed them
player,
and didn't
Q
get jail. What the
Cheng-Wei,
fuck?
over a dispute regarding an online weapon. What happened was Q won the weapon via the game Legend of Mer 3 and then decided to loan it to Zhu to use in the game for himself. However, Zhu decided to be an asshole and went and sold the in-game item to profit for himself. Obviously, Q was incredibly angry about this and informed the cops, only to be told there was nothing they could do because the stolen property wasn't a real thing. After hearing this news, Q searched for Zhu, confronted him about the item and subsequently stabbed him in the chest, killing him. He received the death penalty for this, with the chance of having it changed to life if he behaved.
Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna get multiple in jail, but if I do, it's my life, I'd really die. I'd really get jail. Okay, but if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe.